What's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys for being here. Today is Feel Good Friday. It is May 9th. I hope that you have had a fantastic week. We're going to get through Friday together. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much, whether you're having coffee, whether you're enjoying your morning, out on a walk, listening to me somehow, some way. I appreciate you guys so much. All right. So to lead off the show, I got a couple things coming your way. And this worked out perfectly because yesterday, Alabama football announced their new NIL deal with Athletes Thread featuring Ty Simpson and Bray Hubbard, right? You have Bray Hubbard here on the left, and then you have Ty Simpson. And the gear is called Hide the Tide. And if you want to just buy the gear directly, go to Athletes Thread and search the High Tide format. There's plenty of options to go through. We've been raffling off merchandise, and this fits perfectly. So today, we are going to raffle off this sweet zip up, all right? This is on Athletes Thread, so up to 3 entries that you get for $10, right? Bama_YouTube, Cash App Bama YouTube, right? Portion of that goes back to help the Tuscaloosa Soup Kitchen and, of course, the athletes themselves if you go through Athletes Thread. So that's what we're rocking with today. Alicia Miller, I already got you rocked in. I think that's Marcus, but comes through as Alicia. So I got you locked in already for the raffle. So this is what we got going today, and this is the new line, okay? So hold on. I got some more stuff. So within this graphic right here, I have three. Okay, Chris. All right, that's Chris Waltman. I got you, Chris. I got 3 things for you all to find, okay? I'll go full screen, see if you can find it. There's 3 animals that are hiding in this graphic, okay? There's 3 of them. And I'll come back to this graphic at the end of the show, but I'll give you a few minutes to look for 3 animals that are in camo in here. And Dan Caraway, I got you in here as well. All right, can you see? We got 3 of them. Look all around the graphic. There are 3 animals that are in hiding. 1 I don't think you'll find. Damn, I can't even see. Oh, okay, I can see them. The first one is easy. I'll give you a hint to the first one. The other 2, good luck. There's 3 total animals that are hiding in this graphic from Alabama football. No, there's no squirrel. There's 2 deer and 1 turkey. All right. Okay. So Samuel's got it. there is a deer right here on Ty. Okay. I put that out there. This isn't on the official jacket. I put this up just to have fun with it. All right. Can you see 2 other ones? There's 2 other ones. The other. Okay. One of them. I'm gonna tell you where the other one is. But you're going to have to guess the 3rd one, okay? I can't even imagine if you're watching this on your phone. Here's the other one up here. Do you see? It's up here on the left. So this is another deer. So you got 2 deers. I'm not going to tell you where the turkey is. You have to find the turkey on your own, okay? There's a turkey on here, though. All right, so this is the gear that the players are rocking. It's called Hide the Tide. If you want the direct gear, go to Athletes Thread, search your player. They have, plenty of gear options. They have these hats, which are also fire as well. I think I might get myself one of these. And we'll do, we'll raffle off this today. And I think for this coming week, we'll have enough to raffle. Yesterday, we did a raffle because we've had a lot of contributions, and we're able to do a raffle just in-house. I listed a lot of people in that raffle. And today, this is what we're rocking with. So we got the zip up Alabama. It's camo. It's tight. I love it. Perfect when you're sitting in the blind or just kicking it. All right, and we'll come back to that. Dan Caraway, I got you, man. And Chris Waltman, got you in for the hoodie, man. Bama_YouTube or Cash App. Let's do some shout outs while we wait for people to get checked in. Herman, good morning to you, man. Thank you so much for always joining the show. Appreciate you. Kaylin DeBoss, what's up, man? Alicia Mitchell, what's going on? Perfect attendance. Dustin Barber, what's up, man? Thank you so much. I just explained the raffle rules. Let me know if you need more intel on that. Brady, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Good morning to you. Alabama Renegade, always up in here. Kevin Lynch, good to see you, bro. Steve Taylor, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Chad Kennedy, congratulations on scooping up that other hoodie recently. Daniel Adams, what's up, man? Clint Eastwood, good morning to you. Southern Red, what's up? Antoine, what's up, my man? Good to see you, always up in the house. Thank you so much for being here. And who else we got up in here? We got a good crew today. Chris in New Jersey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good morning to you. Kimberly, happy Friday. What's up? Jay Boogie up in the house. Dan Caraway, what's up, man? And then Anita, what's up? Appreciate you. Okay, so this is the hoodie that we got today, or the zip up rather, and all these are available on Athletes Thread, right? But we're doing a raffle today, and if we don't hit our threshold today, good morning, Steven, we'll roll it over onto our next show, which will be Monday. So recently, somebody asked, I guess Grok, are we more Grok or are we more Chat GPT? I don't know, right? But this is kind of the way of the world. But somebody asked recently, Grok, if Alabama football was going to make the 2025 college football playoffs. And here's what it spit out, okay? So as you can see, it has Arizona State, Texas, Clemson, those teams advancing with byes. And then you have Alabama as the number 8 seed, right? So look, I think a lot of people, when you look to Alabama in the preseason time, there's so much hype, there's so much buildup. How can you not necessarily think that Alabama is going to take a giant step forward, even if you're AI, right? Even here you see AI even feeling that Alabama is going to be one of those teams that does make the playoffs. So I went a step further, and then I asked Grok. I was like, Grok, right? Do you think that Alabama will make the playoffs? And this is what it said. The expanded 12-team playoff format increases competition, and Alabama must avoid upsets, right? Duh. Like Vanderbilt to secure a spot. Prediction: based on the current data, Alabama has a strong likelihood of making the 2025-26 college football playoffs. Most projections place them in the 12-team field, either the SEC champ, number 2 seed, or an at-large bid, number 9 through 11, with a 10-2 or 9-3 record. Remember, FanDuel has Alabama winning about 9 games. The return of talent, DeBoer's offensive expertise, and a manageable schedule outweigh concerns about the 2024 inconsistencies in first year. However, their success hinges on improved quarterback play under Ty Simpson and navigating a brutal SEC slate without having multiple losses. For the latest odds, projections, blah, 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 check out ESPN 24/7, BetMG, blah, blah, blah. So, look, we know that the schedule will be challenging, and I think when you're devil's advocate and you're kind of saying this is why Alabama won't make the playoffs, you probably point to the schedule and particularly the road games, as we've been talking about recently, right? The challenges of playing on the road in those different environments with a new quarterback who it's interesting because he has experience, but he doesn't have big game experience yet, right? So how is Ty Simpson, early on in his career going to deal with some of those high-level defenses on the road? How is Coach Kalen DeBoer under year 2? How is he going to fare in those big games on the road? And I think a lot of those inconsistencies that they had last year will kind of be smoothed over because of the fact that you have a new offensive coordinator and you do have experience because you've been in those games before, right? Patriot Life, what's up, man? Good morning to you. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Melon Jesus, what's up, man? Good to see you. And we'll come back to that in just a minute. This was fire. So Brody Smoot is a great reporter, up and coming reporter for Touchdown Alabama. Touchdown Alabama, we're friends with them. There's a lot of really good websites and YouTube channels. Touchdown Alabama is certainly one of them. Brody Smoot is a team reporter. He's working out, and he put together a crazy list of where Alabama players are playing at right now. This is interesting, okay? Because, and this is a reason why that players didn't leave from Alabama. Because this graphic, which we're about to go over, put together by Brody Smoot, it tells you that the grass is not always greener. And let me ask you this question real quick. And we've talked about it a couple times. Out of all the names that have transferred out of here, and keep that in mind when we're looking at this graphic, which players, are there 5 players that you feel could be starting at Alabama? Are there 5 players when you go through this list? 5 players stop the music. Are there 5 players on this list that we're about to go through that would be starters this year at Alabama? And be serious. Let's take off our Alabama glasses and be like, okay, there's 5 guys in this list that have transferred out over the last 3 years that could be starting here. All right, let's check it out. And Patriot Life, I appreciate you, bro. Good to see you, man. Happy Friday. We'll get you in the zip up too, bro. Thank you, Patriot Life. Patriot Life times 2. Remember, if you want to jump in the raffle, Bama _YouTube on Venmo, Cash App, and Super Chats work as well. Patriot Life times 2. Max 3 entries, $10 to enter the zip up camo from High the Tide. That's what we're rocking with today. Okay, so let's start looking at this list, and we'll go by. I'll run through it real quick. So AAC, Ian Jackson, right? Texas San Antonio. You got Kendrick Blackshire. Man, I thought that Kendrick Blackshire would play here. I really did. I was kind of always like on the fence of Ian Jackson would, but he didn't. Blackshire, who would have thought they both end up at Texas San Antonio? Shaz Preston, haven't thought about him. He's going to Tulane. I figure he'd have a good season. ACC, Roydell Williams, you get a taste of him in week 1 against Alabama, Florida State. Earl Little Jr., man, you know what? Let me ask you this real quick. Would Earl Little Jr. be starting here at maybe that Husky position? Maybe he's one player we kind of forgot about. I thought Earl Little was good. Man, he was. Let's put Earl Little on the maybe list. I'll just write his name down just to think about it. All right, Earl Little. I forgot about him, man, but he's a good player. Okay. Ferguson. Man, TJ Ferguson, he went from Alabama to Florida State, and then he transferred to Syracuse. Patriot Life, what's up, bro? Another 5 fan funderships. Thank you so much, Patriot Life. Okay. Isaiah Hastings. Wow, a lot of guys now at Syracuse. Naquil Bentrade, right? Miles McVay. He obviously is a tackle that left. He felt that, he couldn't start this year. That's an interesting one, McVay. Sterling Dixon, Jeremiah Alexander out to Clemson. Hunter Osborne. Dylan Lonergan, Boston College. Ty Lockwood. Eli Holsting, he's a starter. He wouldn't have been the starter here. James Brockemeyer now at Miami. Man, this is crazy. Big Sky Ajayi, right? Sacramento State. Julian Sain. Right? Julian Sain wouldn't be the starter over Ty. Right? Caleb Downs. Okay, there's one for sure. I mean, look, we love our safeties, Bray and Keon Sapp. But Caleb Downs is that guy. We have respect for him. He's that good. He'll be a first-round pick. He's like the only really lock at this point in time through this list. Justice Haynes, clearly we don't know how good he's going to be, but I don't think he'd be a starter here this year. Damon Payne, Elijah Pritchett. Well, this is an interesting one. He was a starter here until he left to Nebraska. King Mack, no. Malik Benson was good. Malik Benson's a good player, but he wouldn't be a starter here. Peyton Woodyard, man, I don't know. Probably not. Jaleel Hurley, Emmanuel Henderson. Man, this font is all jumbled. Anquin Barnes, Jaron Hamilton, Kobe Prentice. Kobe Prentice is now at Baylor. Jayshon Ross, and then Jaheim Otis. Maybe Jaheim Otis. Jaheim Otis was interesting. He kind of started trending the opposite way. I liked his game, and then that was a weird story. That one seemed like entitlement a little bit, and that he didn't want to put in the work to kind of be one of the guys. I don't know. Anyways, I like Jaheim Otis, and the whole story about him losing all that weight, it was good. All right, here we go. A couple more to go through. All right, so far we have Caleb Downs and maybe Earl Little Jr. All right, Keelan Cox, I don't even remember him. Kadarius Callaway, I barely remember him either. Okay, Devontae Smith was a starter. He was a starter, and then he left Notre Dame. Maybe him. Christian Leary, oh man, Christian Leary, I liked him. He was fast as lightning. JoJo Earl, he was good too. Jake Pope, he was good. These guys are good. They weren't elite, but damn, they would have been great for the 2 deep. Curtis Perry, I liked him. Traquan Fagans, right? Jack State. Look at all these names in the SEC. Jaquez Robinson, Jameer Grimsley, Kendrick Law. I'm curious to see how Kendrick Law does. Elijah Brown, the tight end. Aaron Anderson. Look, Aaron Anderson's good. But again, do you think that he'd be a starter as a wide receiver here? I don't think so. That tells you how good Alabama's wide receivers are, right? Brandon Lanier, Mississippi State. Tony Mitchell. Oh, Tony Mitchell, man. Maybe he'll have a really strong season this year. Jamil Burrows, Caleb Odom. Ooh. See, I always thought that if Caleb Odom stayed and he stayed tight end, he would have been a starter. But now Alabama has, 7 tight ends. I still feel, with respect to the tight end room, I still feel that Caleb Odom just brings another element. If he would have stayed at tight end, I think he would have been one of the starters at tight end. But I don't think he wanted to play tight end. Antonio Kai, Justin Okoronkwo, he wouldn't start this year, but he start next year. Sean Murphy, Monkel Goodwine, Miles Ketzelman, Amari Jefferson. Amari Jefferson was really good too. Des Ricks, Amari Nyblack, now at Texas A&M, and then Keanu Coe, right? So, I mean, again, the list was put together by this young man, Brody Smoot. Go follow him. Does a really good job for Touchdown Alabama. I think kind of like when I look back at the list, I feel that the only player that I really feel maybe 3 players. Caleb Downs for sure. Caleb Odom at tight end. And then Earl Little Jr. maybe at the Husky position. But other than that, it's like that's why, Marcus, we're just going over transfers and where they're at now. But this is what I want to tie it back to. This list that we just went over, this copious list of guys who transferred out, this is why players didn't hit the portal. A, they were taken care of financially. B, I think players are starting to realize if we continue to hop around, like, we might not even be the starter at the next school. And staying at Alabama, even as a 2 deep, it's almost as equal as being at a starter at another school. Do you hear what I just said? Because when you're over here, every single piece of media content is about Alabama football. Let's face it. There's like really 5 programs that drive these news sites, and Alabama is still at the forefront. So you're going to be talked about. You're going to be put in the limelight. And when you do have an opportunity to stand up and stand out, people are going to notice you. Much more than if you're at Louisville or if you're at, even like a Miami. Those schools don't have the same megaphone to stardom that Alabama does. So just stay, even if you're in the 2 deep, hang tight, and do what Bray Hubbard did. And when your name is called, step up and, stand out. So this is what we're rocking with today. We got the Alabama zip up. I'm going to open up the call-in line today too. Just for a little bit, 205-850-1994. If you want to call in, talk college football, you have something that's on your mind, it's your show, it's Friday, feeling good, call in, we can chat. To get into the raffle today for Alabama's new Hide the Tide camo look, again, all this gear at Athletes Thread. If you don't want to join the raffle, that's cool. But if you want to support the players, go to Athletes Thread, look up your favorite athlete, get the camo gear. Today we're doing $10 to enter, max 3 entries. Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. And then this is what the players look like in the gear. And I said there are 3 animals hidden in this graphic. Have you guys been able to find the 3rd animal? Okay, there's a deer right here. I put these in myself. There's a deer right here. There's another deer up here. This one's hard to see. And there's a turkey in here. No, I don't think anybody's going to find the turkey. As soon as I put the turkey, I was like, oh, no one's getting the turkey. But the call line is open if you want to chime in. The call line number is 205-850-1994. So then after I did the whole Alabama make the playoffs, right? George, what's up, man? I appreciate you being a fan funder. Thank you so much. So then I put, because I've asked this question, I think, this week. And I said, would Ty Simpson throw for over 3,500 yards, right? You've heard me ask this before. So then I put it into Grok, then, because this is how I got into Grok, because I went from the playoffs that AI generated, and it has Alabama making the playoffs, right? At number 8, playing Illinois. Take that all day here in Tuscaloosa. But then I went and I asked Grok, will Ty Simpson throw for 3,500 yards? And this is what Grok said, all right? So while 3,500 yards is ambitious, it's plausible, but not probable that Simpson in 2025, and here's the breakdown. Best case scenario, I actually like the info that he spit out, right? Who doesn't? A little AI for you. All right. Justin Weaver, what's up, man? I got you inside the Cash App. Same thing with you, Chad Kennedy. And it said this. Best case scenario, Simpson locks the starting role, gets DeBoer's system, and leverages Alabama's talent to average 250 to 300 yards per game, over 1,500 yards. That yields 4,500 yards, exceeding 3,500 yards comfortably, especially with the stat padding games and a deep college football run. Likely scenario. Likely scenario says this. Simpson starts but faces growing pains against SEC defenses and occasional QB rotation. Interesting. Averaging 225 yards per game over 14 to 15 games, including losses early in the college football playoff exit. He finishes with 2,800 yards, 3,300 yards, falling short at 3,500 yards. Worst case scenario, which we can all agree, right? Struggles or injuries lead to shared snaps with Russell or Austin Mack, limiting him to 150 yards per game over 12 to 13, totaling 18 to 2,000 yards. Given Simpson's inexperience, 381 yards, and the leap to reach 3,500 yards, a 9 times increase from 2024, the likely outcome is under 3,500 yards. Historical data from DeBoer's QB and from Alabama's offensive potential make it possible, but Simpson needs a breakout season with consistent 250-yard games, which is uncertain without proving passing prowess. For context, only 14 FBS quarterbacks threw 3,500 yards in 2024, and Alabama's toughest opponents, Georgia, may surpass totals. Interesting. Yeah, wow, that's a good stat at the bottom. Only 14 quarterbacks were able to throw for 3,500 yards. I think the big difference, and if I was to, kind of fall into one of these scenarios, I think one of the key elements that Grok didn't put out there, and we know AI knows everything, right? It didn't mention Brian Grubb, and that it can't necessarily be factored in just yet because he wasn't here last year. And while we have some data points from Ty Simpson throwing for 381 yards and however many appearances, he hasn't worked with Grubb. And Grubb hasn't worked with Ty Simpson, and Grubb hasn't worked with Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, and, Jan Miller. So my point is, I think it's a little bit more probable if Ty is the guy throughout the season and Ryan Grubb really finds his rhythm in college football. I think it could be a really nice combination and a lot of offense. So that's kind of where you don't have the data points. But we've asked that question before, and it's something that we'll continue to track throughout the year. And I think, Grok is right. The quarterback competition could come into play early on in the season if you do have Ty Simpson potentially struggle, right? We don't know. We can't predict the future. We don't know what's going to happen, but we do know that schedule is very difficult. And, games on the road early on, against Georgia, as we said this week, the games that we feel are trap games are Missouri and Oklahoma. Missouri on the road, Oklahoma at home. So, but I certainly think that 3,500 yards for Ty Simpson, I think if I had to take it right now, like point blank, I'd probably take it. And a lot of the reason is is Grubb, Ty Simpson, and then all the offensive components that we have. The only question is, can the offensive line keep this guy upright and give him enough time to kind of work the intermediate and to work whatever Grubb has going for him, this season. So Justin Weaver, I got you in, man. Thank you so much for joining the raffle. So we got Chris Waltman, Dan Caraway, Patriot Live, Chad Kennedy. We got Justin Weaver. Again, Bama_YouTube on Venmo, Cash App, Bama YouTube, or you could throw in a super chat. Today's hoodie raffle is the Alabama Tusk Camo Full Zip Bama hoodie. And if you want to just bypass this and you just want to support the players, go to Athletes Thread, and they have a ton of gear. They've been loaded. At first, they didn't have so much gear. Now that they're starting to load up on the gear, which is good to see. And I've ordered from Athletes Thread before, and they're really good. They sent out the gear pretty quickly, not as quickly as Fanatics. I think Fanatics has been around probably a little bit longer, but I like the Athletes Thread gear. I have the Ryan Williams hoodie, and I've got some hats from there. So anyways, check it out, Athletes Thread. Call line is open, 205-850-1994. And it's Feel Good Friday. So if you have a question for me as well, you can add that inside the comment box. I'm willing to take a couple questions today on Feel Good Friday as well. Whether that's about the quarterback competition, whether that's about the college football playoffs, whether that's about Nick Saban trying to save college football. Shoot a question inside the comment box, and I'll fire back. Now is a good time. Let's see. Andrew, what's up, man? Andrew says this inside the comment box. Andrew says, Bama is going to surprise a lot of people. Yeah, I think when you look to kind of the expectations of this season, I think within our own ecosystem, we're very confident that Alabama makes the playoffs and takes a really big step forward, right? So ecosystem is very high on Alabama. Bullish, let's say. The outside world is not bullish on Alabama. And I think the outside world and outside of Alabama's ecosystem feels that Alabama is vulnerable. I feel that the outside world thinks that Alabama has lost its luster. I think that the outside world feels that Alabama is kind of mid, to be honest. And I feel that the outside world is thinking, okay, Alabama football is done, so now our team, our program can make a run. I can see why they maybe think that, and I think the biggest reason is Coach Saban isn't here, right? But I'd be careful if I was an outside program to think that, because if you look at Alabama with all their defense coming back, and then you pair it back with some of the star studs that you have on offense, I don't know. Like, the expectations within our little system, I think, might be accurate. This team should and they should know from year one what it's going to take to kind of get back to that standard. And the standard starts with trying to make the SEC title game, making the playoffs, and bringing in a title. But would you say this, yes or no, inside the comment box? Does it seem kind of like the outside world feels that Alabama football has kind of fell off? It feels like that to me. Maybe, the national sites have to talk about Alabama because Alabama still drives, moves the needle for everybody. But I think if you were to ask just the casual fan from like Tennessee or from, I don't know, Indiana or from whoever, I think people would be, and if you ask this question, do you think Alabama has fallen off? I think everybody would say yeah, right? One season doesn't dictate the complete direction of the program. Mike G inside the comment box. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, bro. Mike is saying that they have fallen off a little bit. And look, the last game that Alabama played, they lost. Ooh, this is a good question. JJRMFT, I love that, says, what is Ty Simpson's EA college football rating? I'm going to say like a 87, right? I mean, I don't know if it'll be a 90, but yeah, I would say like, what do you think, JJ? I'm going to say like a 87 and speed of like, I don't know, 80? Milroe's grade, what was that, like a 96 or something like that? Nick Harden inside the comment box. That's what I said. Ty is going to be up against the defense for Bama. Yeah, think about that. Every single day, that's the defense that Ty is going against, or Keelan Russell when he gets opportunities with the ones, or same thing with Austin Mack. I mean, you're going against a veteran defense when the ones go against the ones. Sam, back on that Ty Simpson rating, says 85, 84. Yeah, so you guys, we're kind of in the same ballpark. I think, what did I say, 87? Ty runs a 4.9. He seems faster than that. 85, yeah. So we're like kind of right on par. You know they're gonna make like Arch Manning like a 95 or something like that. Nathan, what's up, man? Nathan says this inside the comment box. Coach KD went to a national championship in 2 years at Washington. Best offensive line also. Bama talent is way better. This is a really great point, too. I mean, if you look to what he was able to do at Washington, and I get it, a lesser conference with less talent that you're playing week in and week out, now you come over here and you take that coaching philosophy with a roster that has incredible talent. I mean, that's what it is this year. All right, 317, let's take it. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
What's good, Kyle? This is Marcus from St. Pete, man. How you doing?
What's up, Marcus? Good to talk to you, man. This is Feel Good Friday, man. What's up, Marcus? Come with it, bro. Welcome to the show.
I know, man. First, I want to say happy Friday to you and everybody in the Undefeated chat. I hope everybody's having a good start to their weekend.
Yeah, man. It's we're moving, you know. Look, we get through May, we get through June, and pretty soon SEC Media Days will be here, and then you know what? We'll be hanging out on Saturday watching Alabama, Florida State. It's coming. It goes by fast.
It really does, man. There's two things I wanted to talk about. One, I think everybody's kind of wanted to move on from, but I heard it on a couple different shows, and I think somebody even mentioned it on the last time we did a call-in. But that whole rumor about there was going to be a mass exodus if Jalen Milroe came back, I think it's complete BS. Complete BS. And here's why. I could be 100% wrong, but here's my take on it. Bama lost 0 guys in the transfer portal. So that means those guys are bought in to what Coach DeBoer and his staff is selling, and Courtney Morgan's doing a great job with the NIL and keeping everybody maintained. So am I to believe that if one guy came back, that was going to break up the brotherhood and the belief and the buy-in, and that there was going to be a mass exodus? That's saying that Jalen Milroe is toxic, and I highly doubt that a man who exudes such great character was going to come back and make everybody leave. What I feel like would have happened if he had came back was he was going to get beat out, and he would sit behind Ty Simpson, and Ty Simpson would do his thing. But what's your thoughts and feelings on that? Did you really think that if Milroe came back, he was going to create a mass exodus? Because I don't believe that. I think he would have paid his dues, and it could have ended up being another Tua and Jalen Hurts situation. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Man, you know, I've thought about this, and we're on with Marcus calling in from St. Pete's, a frequent caller. You know, I'm going to say that there would have been not a mass exodus, but I think that there would have been offensive weapons that are important to Alabama that would certainly have left. For example, like I think some running backs would have left. And I think maybe, you know, a few wide receivers would have left. And that might have been kind of the extent of it. I don't think like 30 players would have hit the portal because Milroe is not a toxic person. But I think Milroe has so much offense by himself that other players would have been like, yo, I'm not going to get fed the ball. I'm out. And so you probably lose, like, I don't know, I'm just making this up here. You probably lose like a Jam Miller. You probably lose a couple wide receivers who probably feel that, you know, he's not going to spread the ball out like these other quarterbacks should. But I don't think it would have been like, you know, 15 to 20 players. I think it would have been like 5 to 7. So Milroe is not a toxic person. But he demands a lot of carries because of what he brings. So players would have transferred out, but I don't think it would have been a mass exodus. I think whoever said that was probably, you know, a little far-fetched on that regard.
Yeah, I feel like when people give out these anonymous sources say something like, make yourself present and known, like put your name on it. The next thing I wanted to say is there's two quarterbacks in the SEC that I'm still not 100% sold on, and I don't know why sports pundits and people who report on college football are very big on this. But I'm not sold on Garrett Nussmeier because he does not impress me, and it's not because I'm trying to give a knock at the kid, but going into the LSU game last year, Bama going on the road, everybody knows that when Bama goes on the road, even under Coach Saban's regime, there were times where they just looked like a different team. And Bama didn't lose a notch at all. And for 2 years in a row, Jalen Milroe dropped 8 touchdowns on them. I'm not sold on Garrett Nussmeier, and I'm still not sure why everybody is so sold on Arch Manning just yet. We haven't seen him play any meaningful downs, any meaningful snaps. I get that he has a famous last name, and he comes from a very strong lineage, and I expect the kid to be good, but until we see it on the field against like real competition that wants to act out their violent intentions on you, why are we keep saying that him and Garrett Nussmeier are like the top 2 quarterbacks in the SEC right now? I'm just not buying it. I need to see it because I'm not sold on either one of them.
Yeah, and Lance brings up a really good point inside the comment box. I think I agree with you and Lance here. It says, me either. He says Nussmeier is overhyped. I agree with that. Stockton is overhyped. I think kind of just because he's Georgia's quarterback, he's going to, we think he's like really good. I didn't really see much from him at all, to be honest. And then Arch Manning, I think,
exactly.
He carries so much because of his name and who he is. And I will say this, I do feel I would be shocked if Arch Manning doesn't have a stellar season. I think that I think along with the pedigree, I think the talent is certainly there. Now with Garrett Nussmeier, he hasn't done anything to scare me. I was scared of him last year. I thought he would do something against Alabama. He didn't. He was totally overhyped. The Stockton dude from Georgia, I think he's kind of what happened? He's your typical Georgia quarterback. He's like a mid quarterback. They'll have a good defense, pretty good offense, and that's Georgia. They don't have like a absolutely elite quarterback, in my opinion. The quarterback that we should be concerned about in the SEC is Lenore Sellers. He is a problem. You are going to play him in Columbia, South Carolina. He was a problem last year. He will be better this year. He has weapons. He's very talented. People don't like to talk about, John Mateer because they don't know about him. He might be the best quarterback in the SEC, period, at Oklahoma. And then, look, Diego Pavia, say what you want. He might body slam your you-know-what. And he beat Alabama. He beat Auburn. And the guy has the mindset of a winner. And, so there's plenty of quarterbacks. And Nico wouldn't have been, going back to Nico, I know you didn't ask about him, but I don't think that he was even a top 5 quarterback returning in the SEC. And now we'll never hear from him again because he went to UCLA. Anything else you got, Marcus? And thanks for the super chat, Efron, man. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I also am not – I don't know why Georgia and Texas still keep taking the top spots when it comes to who is supposed to be competing for the SEC championship. I'm not sold on the Gunnar Stockton kid. I understand that he has to step in and play. I think it was during the bowl game he had to step in and play. But I'm just not sold on him just yet because I expect him to improve. But I also am putting a lot of faith in Alabama's defense this year because you retained a lot of that talent. This is going to be year 2 under Coach Womack. I think Alabama's defense is going to look very good. I think the secondary is going to be a no-fly zone for the most part. But I'm not sold on Georgia, and I'm not sold on Texas right now either.
Yeah.
I get that Arch Manning's coming back, but how do you replace – I understand everybody has the mentality of it's just reload, and that's not how it works. Coach Saban has said this a million times. You don't just crap out another 5-star that has the same level of experience and talent and execution as the previous guy that he's replacing. So I'm just not sold on the fact that Texas and Georgia is just going to dominate simply because people think Alabama took a step back. Alabama was in year 1 losing their coach, their OC, their DC, and 30-plus players to the draft and the transfer portal. What did you expect was going to happen in year 1? 9-4 is way better than what we could have ended up with because the second coach that Greg Sankey looked at was Mike Norvell. Bama could have went from 9-4 to 2-10. Our program could have been on fire, and then we really would have been the laughing stock of the SEC. 9-4 is the starting off point, and that's fine with me. This year, I expect the team to take a step forward, but to just automatically assume that Georgia and Texas are going to be the two programs are going to be the kind of like the big boys in the SEC now, I think is, I don't know. I think there might be some bias baked in or whatever it may be, but I'm just not sold on it. I appreciate you taking my call, though, Kyle. I hope everybody has a great weekend and a great Friday.
All right, man. Take it easy, Marcus. You enjoy St. Pete's, man. Don't be too rough on the beach, man, bro. All right, man. Take it easy. All right.
Peace.
Marcus calling in with the strong call. We got looks like Chris from New Jersey batting next right here on Friday's show. Just in from Pete Thamel, it says North Carolina. This is hilarious. North Carolina says Bill Belichick's girlfriend still welcomed at the school. Okay, that's May. That's when you know we're in May. So again, Pete Thamel says North Carolina says Bill Belichick's girlfriend is still welcomed at the school. I'm sure you've been following that. Maybe you haven't. I don't know. That is like TMZ type stuff, but that's kind of like merged into college football. What we're doing, we got the hoodie today. This is part of Alabama's Hide the Tide selection right here. And if you want the gear directly, just go to Athletes Thread. They got hats, they got polo, whatever you want in camo gear. And we are doing our raffle today with this particular zip-up hoodie. It's the Alabama Tusk Camo Zip Bama hoodie from Athletes Thread. $10 to get into the raffle. 3 chances to get up into the raffle. Venmo, Bama__YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. Or you can get in with the Super Chat as well. Next up, we got Chris from New Jersey. Chris, what's up, man?
Kyle, happy Friday, brother.
Good morning to you. I appreciate you. Or shoot, you're about to have some golden mashed potatoes. It's lunchtime for you up in New Jersey, man. It's been a minute. Good to hear from you, bro. Welcome on in.
Hey, I gotta ask you, how's that Ross Bridge? Is that a nice golf course? It looks sweet.
Yes. So was able to play Ross Bridge, which is part of the RTJ course trail. So Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail here in Alabama. If you haven't played Ross Bridge, it's kind of like their gem course. Beautiful course, really good layout. I feel it's a course you could score at. Phenomenal day for golf. So anytime that I can get out onto the golf course, I love to compete. Right, I don't like to just go play like leisurely golf. If I'm playing, like I want to play. Like I'm a competitor, so I like to play. So, RTJ course, definitely worth it. If you came in here, if you're flying in here to Alabama and you like to play golf, bring your clubs. Try to play the RTJ and go easy on your putter because those greens are burning, man. But welcome onto the show, man. What you got, Chris?
So. I'm going to tell you right now, we haven't spoken in a couple of weeks. Every day I get more and more excited. I am so pumped for next season and so many different reasons, but that nobody left. That's a big sign. I think it means that Bama's got the money, the NIL money right before Saban fixes it, of course. So you got to look at Courtney Morgan is the man. He's keeping all of our players happy, which you need happy players to win. Before anybody comes after me about I was all in on Milroe last year for multiple reasons. Kyle, when did I start calling you up and going crazy about Milroe? After the Georgia game, right? And then the next week we lose to Vanderbilt. And I thought that was, it was a letdown game and, blah, blah, blah. I'm not making excuses for myself, but maybe I am. But, listen, he played hard. He didn't play well against Tennessee, and he definitely played horribly the worst game of the year against Oklahoma. But, that being said, that chapter's, closed. So we're moving on. And hear me out, Kyle. I think that if you go back, and I've been looking at like all the championship teams, basically, that Bama or that Saban had, right? You had real game managers, and was Tua a game manager? No, but remember he replaced Jalen Hurts in the championship game. But and was Jalen Hurts. By the way, Jalen Hurts, you could almost say, that he was a game manager, although he liked to take off and run. But Coker, game manager, A.J. McCarron, game manager, and we all know the best game manager that there's been in probably 30 years is Mac Jones. So, what I am praying that we're going to get, that's what we're going to get out of Ty Simpson. He's going to distribute the ball. He's going to get it out of his hands quickly. He's going to get, we're going to run the ball. And something that, we never talk about, that hopefully we're going to be talking about this every week, Kyle, is that we're going to win football games the old-fashioned way, Kyle. Defense, defense, defense. So, listen, I'm excited. When's practice start? Like August 1st, Kyle?
Yeah. We got a ways to go for practice.
We got a ways to go, man. Oh my God. All right. So I wanted to catch up. You and I will play golf one day, my friend. I promise you that.
Can't wait.
So you know what I want to do is I want to come down and play Rossbridge. I want to go see a Hoover High School football game. Because remember that 2-a-days, and then I want to see Alabama the next day.
Yeah.
So that's a goal of mine. So maybe this year. So listen, Kyle, listen. We love the show. Great job. Don't worry. Even though the season's not closed, we're on here. I come on here in the middle of work. By the way, sometimes I'm like on a conference call. I'm like, I got to put Kyle on. So anyway, listen. Thank you for what you do. My best to you. Best of the undefeated. You have a glorious weekend, and we will talk soon, my friend.
All right, man. All right, take it easy. Chris out in New Jersey. Looks like we got Mike and Austin coming up next. I just saw. This is just in as well. Ryan Williams has a new NIL deal with CVS, and he's telling everybody to go get their Mother's Day cards at CVS. And I kid you not, he's wearing camo pants. Okay, so like camo is in. Okay, so he has camo pants on, and he's walking through. Follow him on Instagram. He's walking through the aisles at CVS, and he's looking through cards to get to his mom. Remember, Mother's Day is coming up. So send your mom a letter, call her, tell her you love her. And, Ryan Williams has linked up with CVS. So, and he's in camo pants. Chris from New Jersey with the call. Mike, we'll get to you in just a second. Yeah, I know the thing about the quarterback situation is I think you have a quarterback here that will be clearly a pass-first quarterback. And I think when you have the wide receivers and how dangerous they are, we don't have to make this complicated. The intermediate, get the players, the football in intermediate space. That's that 10 to 15-yard window. Don't focus on one particular wide receiver. Spread the ball out. Feed the running backs in short yardage situations. Don't do anything fancy inside the red zone. Feed it to the running backs and score points. Sometimes it gets overcomplicated. We got 865. Oh, I think this might be Angel. Angel, what's up, man?
Hello, this is Angel. How can I help you?
Welcome, Angel. I like to place a to-go order for some Pigeon Fords. What is the whiskey that you guys have out there?
Moonshine.
Yes, it's the moonshine.
Yeah, moonshine.
I remember
seeing. But I don't drink too much of it.
No, neither do I. But I remember when I was out there, I had to try it. There was like a couple, moonshine. I don't know, distilleries kind of going in there from Sevierville, kind of working your way in. Hey, did you see that you won that hat yesterday? On yesterday's show?
Who, me?
Yeah. Am I breaking the news to you? Yeah. Go back and watch yesterday's show. So what I did was a raffle. Yeah. It was like a free raffle, and I loaded up everybody. Old Smokey, thank you. That was it. So I loaded up everybody who was on, I don't know, Wednesday's show, and I put them inside the pinwheel, and we just spun the hell out of it, and you came out with the winning hat from Mobley, man. So email me after this your address, and we'll send it out to you.
All right. Oh, thanks. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, congratulations. So welcome on to the show, bro. Come with it. It's Feel Good Friday.
Yeah, look, Well, first of all, I gotta get this off my chest because this whole Bama hater posted yesterday about Alabama being done or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they're not even done. Bama had just won a championship 5 years ago, so I mean that's still relevant to what Miami's done in what the '90s, 2000s, the Big East. Yeah, that's dead. That conference is dead now. Like, and they haven't won nothing in the ACC yet, so I don't know why he's talking. Like, you see what I'm saying? Because Bama has got the pedigree of winning championships, while Miami only has 5. Bama's got 18. They got 5. And the last time Bama played Miami was in 1992, and Gene Stallings, his team beat Miami. So I don't know why he's talking. And all these people, like, they're saying Bama's done, DeBoer is not it. Look, it was his first season last year. Just like Saban's first season. It ain't perfect. He had to get his players in to understand this whole new landscape of college football now. Kids can run away, cry, do whatever because they're not getting playing time or they're not working hard enough, and they're running with some competition like cowards.
Yeah.
That's what's – I mean, these kids nowadays, they don't understand hard work anymore. It's all given to them.
Yeah,
that's what they think in their mind.
We often talk about kind of the entitlement of it and whatnot. The thing is, like when Bama Hater calls and he discusses, some topics with us, it's comical because really, like, okay, Miami had a pretty good season last year, but nobody was honestly taking them serious. Like, we all knew the issues that they had, and they were playing good against weak competition. And really, like, what has Miami really done? And look, we're fans of Mario Cristobal, and we're excited to see what happens with Carson Beck and all this stuff. But they've had a lot of players transfer out, and if you're not winning the ACC, like, stop. You know what I'm saying? This is like SMU. Yeah. So SMU just joined the conference, and they like ran through that conference like a hot knife through butter. So I still have a hard time taking that conference seriously, and I know people are really high on Clemson, and that's the thing. Like, so when you hear a Miami fan who Bama hater is, it's hard to take them serious because Miami is like, they're kind of like they're in that, like, I don't know, 15 to 20 range that we don't really care about. We watch them and they're on their radar, but we all know that it's not really going to end up being like a really national title run or whatever. Anyways, what else you got, Angel?
Yeah, look, I'm excited for this defense to show up and Damani Jackson. And this defense is going to be better than last year because right now this defense, they're together now. Like, they played a season together. They know what the system is now. There's no pressure anymore. And, yes, down the line we're going to face competition like South Carolina. That's going to be the toughest game of the year. Georgia, maybe, but Georgia lost their quarterback. And I think Kirby Smart can't get control of his players no more because they're always getting arrested left and right. And just their window's done, I think, because
let's ask the undefeated. That's an interesting question. Are we anticipating Georgia to once again be like, because we're just automatically lumping them year in, year out within like this top 10 range. Do we feel that Georgia is going to be, I don't know, do we think they're going to be elite this year? Seriously. Like,
no, they're going to fall back.
Yeah. Huh. No. So, okay, let me ask this. This is the question we should ask them. Does Georgia fall back this year? Yes or no? Does Georgia fall back this year in 2025? Does Georgia fall back, yes or no?
I believe they do.
Yeah, I could take that. Yeah.
Coach Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach Smart can't control his players no more. He's losing his players right now because they're all getting arrested left and right. And we see the news every day. Like, it's just never ending.
But I think it starts here.
Look,
I think it starts with what Lance said. I think Gunnar Stockton is mid quarterback. And unless they get like someone, or unless they had someone super elite, I'm not really going to take Georgia as a team that I think can win the national title this year. Now, the game will be difficult in Athens, 1,000,000% for 1,000,000 different reasons, but I don't think that Gunnar Stockton will be one of those reasons. And Marcus is saying define fallback. I think, that's a good question. I think fallback would be like, I don't know. We haven't even looked at Georgia's schedule. Let's look at Georgia's schedule real quick before we end the show. Stay with me, Angel. Do you have another point you want to bring up? Anything else on Georgia while I bring up Georgia's schedule?
Uh, yeah, I think Georgia loses 4 games this year, honestly, because
Well, let's look at it.
we saw Garner Stockton play, and he was terrible against Notre Dame. And that player against Georgia, the walk-on player that ruined the game for them, what kind of moment was that? That was just terrible. And I think Georgia's falling off.
All right, let's see.
They had a window, and now it's gone.
Okay, we're going full screen on Georgia. Let's go just real quick. Let's do a game by game. Okay, Georgia versus Marshall. Who wins? Georgia. Okay.
Georgia.
Austin P. Georgia. Okay. Tennessee. At Tennessee, they'll win. They host Bama. Okay. Let's say, I don't know. Is that even a coin flip? Let's just theoretically say that, they beat Alabama. I don't know. Just to throw it out there. No, let's say they lose. So that would be one loss. Okay. Kentucky. They almost lost to Kentucky last year, but they'll win against Kentucky because it's at Georgia. Then they go to Auburn. Auburn plays Georgia well. I would imagine they beat them. Then they play Ole Miss. Florida. Florida, then Texas, but that game's also at home. So they have Alabama and Texas at home. Is Georgia really losing 4 games? I don't think they're going to. I don't see 4 games on here, Angel.
I mean, maybe a 3rd game, maybe, but I just think Georgia's falling off because they can't get their players under control.
I don't know.
Plus it's brewing their brand, like Kirby Smart can't get control of his players, and I think Bama can beat Georgia, convincingly this year.
Yeah,
last year, they almost choked the game, but they didn't choke the game until Ryan Williams came alive.
I don't know if they're losing three games, fam. Look, are they going to lose to, the Alabama game? Obviously, that's the one we circle, right? So let's just say they lose that game. They're beating Tennessee at Auburn. I think they win that game. Ole Miss, they probably beat that game again. Is at Georgia's. They win that game. Florida, Texas, I think they might lose 2 games. 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I might pick Georgia Tech too. Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Georgia Tech. That game was crazy last year, but who knows? I mean, last year doesn't equal this year. Anyways, I appreciate you calling in, man. Email me, Angel, and we'll get that hat out to you, bro.
All right, thank you, man. Real time.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Real time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, you too. So who knows? I just kind of looking at this schedule. I think that they'll beat Marshall, Austin. They'll beat the 3-0 going into Alabama. Who knows about that game? Let's say Alabama wins. They're 3-1. Beat Kentucky. Beat Auburn in overtime, beat Ole Miss in overtime. So, at this point, they could be, 6-1. Florida, they'll beat. That'll be a tough game. 7-1, 8-1. Lose to Texas, 8-2. Beat Charlotte, 9-2. Beat Georgia Tech, 10-2. I got them at 10-2. I don't know. Who knows? But I think they'll lose 2. But I don't think they'll lose 3 or 4. Who knows? Anyways, but appreciate you guys rocking with us. Well, we still have plenty of spaces open. This is I would say this is a big ticket item, being it's a value of $100. So if you want a Venmo, Cash App, I'll put this in the community tab as well, and it'll be open over the weekend, and then we'll spin the pinwheel probably on Monday. But Bama_YouTube, Cash App, Bama YouTube. We got Chris Waltman in. We got Dan Caraway in. If you've gone in multiple times, your name counts. Patriot Life, Chad Kennedy, Justin Weaver, Ephraim, Lisa. Those are the people that are in so far. And, of course, it'll be open over the weekend. I'll remind you guys from time to time. But this will be something that we're rocking with is the new Hide the Tide. Let me show you where that turkey was, by the way, as we end up the show. This was a tough one. I'm sorry. This was remember the game Where's Waldo? Who played that? All right, let's see if we can get in here, okay? Look, going down. I put this turkey right here. Did you see that? You see the turkey? When you zoom out, he's right here. Probably tough to see. So you have a deer right here. You have the turkey right here. And then you have another deer up on right here. I just thought it'd be hilarious to put in some animals with it being camo, All right. have fun, be good people, enjoy your life, stay where your feet are at, go outside, walk your dogs. Don't forget to call your mom, tell her that you love her. Check out my men's devotional. If you can, I'll drop it inside the comment box right now. Each and every day, sometimes during the day, sometimes at night, but we get it in. Thank you so much. Remember, support the athletes by going over to Athletes Thread. You can just get the camel gear that you want, or you can join the raffle. $10 to enter. 3 chances. Bama_YouTube. Cash at Bama YouTube. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Have a beautiful day. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this Friday, May 9th. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. See you.